This weekend, we have UFC Houston, Sean Strickland and Anthony Hernandez going at it. As we do for every card, I give you my full card breakdown and predictions. So, that being said, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. Let's just get straight into it. Opening the card, we have Carly Judice versus Juliana Miller. I'm taking Carly Judice. I haven't even seen an alternate take to this. I think everyone is kind of in agreement that Juliana Miller should not be an MMA fighter, let alone on the UFC roster. There's nothing calculated to anything that she does. A lot of her, I guess you could say that she's kind of a grappler, I guess. She's so awful that you can't even really tell what it is that she is good at or what her style is. On the feet, a lot of it is just her winging hooks that she's not even close to being in boxing range. There's no feints to set them up. When it gets to the grappling, she's kind of helpless. There's no real thought behind anything that she has in the octagon. Whereas Carly Judice is actually pretty damn talented, and I've seen some takes saying that she should probably actually be undefeated still. She has good knees when they get in close. She can fight on the ground from top position really well, and she's swarming, especially in the first round. And against Juliana Miller, where Juliana Miller hasn't really shown us anything that's been good, I think Carly Judice gets her out of there in the first or second round. I don't see this one going the distance. I don't think Juliana Miller should be in the UFC, let alone be an MMA fighter. So I know that's harsh to hear maybe, but I mean, you're gonna see tomorrow night. She's not good, dude. After that, we have Yadier Del Valle versus Jordan Levitt. I'm taking Del Valle here. So Del Valle is a grappler. Obviously, we saw that in his last fight that who knows if it was fixed or not. He choked out Isaac Dogarian. I actually called that fight word for word for what was going to happen, and then the news broke that it was, quote unquote rigged, and kind of buzzkilled my whole mood because I was feeling like, damn, I knew exactly what was going to happen. But anyways, Del Valle, he is a very talented grappler, especially from the top position, and as a southpaw, he sets up combinations kind of weird almost, because from a southpaw stance, when he's fighting orthodox fighters, he'll slap an inside low kick in there, which is kind of hard to land and kind of hard to set up anything into takedowns or any combinations on the feet when you're throwing that inside low kick from a split stance as a southpaw. But he actually does it really well, and his striking has improved throughout the film that I've watched, and he is powerful, especially early. He tends to get a little bit sloppy as the fight goes, which I've mentioned in the past. But Jordan Levitt, I don't think does well with pressure, and when he's moving backwards, he's been neutralized on the ground before, and not in a way that, oh, maybe he had a fighting chance or whatever. His grappling has improved, but I mean, Chase Hooper did whatever the hell he wanted. Patty Pimblett did whatever the hell he wanted. I think when he fights those guys who have a style of going out in the first round and being very grapple heavy and very dependent on blasting a double leg, holding top control, and getting to a dominant position to get you out of there quick, I don't think he does very well. His grappling has improved. I mean, you can point to his last fight. He submitted Kurt Holloway in the first round. His transitions looked a little bit cleaner. Del Valle is, I think, actually progressing at a decently high rate. I know we can't really take too much from his last fight, but the striking, I think, is a pretty big deal when he's progressing at the rate that he is, and when he kind of has an unorthodox style of those inside low kicks from the southpaw stance. So I like Del Valle here. I think he gets a submission. I put it in round 1. I don't like the accepting of the position from Jordan Levitt. I don't like the history that he has when he does fight these kinds of grapple heavy guys who come out hot in the first round. He kind of just folds. I'm going to assume the worst here for Jordan Levitt, and that's going to happen again. So I'll take Del Valle. He's coming off steam too, so I think he gets it done in the first round by submission. Up next, we have John Paul Labonciani versus Phil Rowe. I'm taking JPL here. Usually in these styles of matchups, or at least on paper, you look at Phil Rowe and you think, okay, he's way longer. He'll be able to snipe at range, teep at range, low kick, put his back to the cage, kind of circle over and over, and win over 15 minutes. But that's not really the style that Phil Rowe has grown to have. He's actually from what I've noticed, because I mean, you look at his frame and you think that's what he's going to do is stay on the outside. He likes like fighting in close, and he likes getting to the clinch, it seems. He likes landing elbows, knees. He likes getting in tight, which is weird because he's so much bigger than a lot of these guys like JPL. But JPL's good for one when it comes to fighting in close. He has good looping shots and he mixes in uppercuts as well. We saw that in one of his finishes. I don't remember if it was the Contender Series fight or what. He knocked a guy down and I think put him out pretty bad from one of those instances where the guy reached for the clinch. JPL had made a read. They had gotten into that situation earlier in the fight and he just bombed one over the guard and put him down. That and JPL isn't even a striker. He's a grapple heavy guy. And Phil Rowe has shown the susceptibility to giving guys the ability to get in on his hips and get him down. And when he does get down, again, when you have a longer guy, a lot of times they're good off their back. They're a big submission threat. But that's not the case with Phil Rowe. He kind of accepts the position, tries to get feet on the hips, tries to get through his butterflies, get up. But sometimes he's so openly willing to go down. And JPL is a very decorated grappler. And you can see that in his film. When he does get to the ground, it's smooth. It's really smooth, and it's really impressive the way that he's able to float down there on the ground. So I think he gets a submission here. I think it happens in the first or second round. You know, this isn't Ange Lusa where just like dump the gas tank early if he hurts you and then not be able to find a finish. And if it does go to the ground, just be like sucking air just on top of you, not able to breathe. That's not going to happen. If he hurts Phil Rowe early, I think he's able to get him out of there. And it's because he has so many ways of doing that already. And he's shown progression in the striking. His grappling's already such a high level. Not the wrestling. I'll say that. His wrestling entries could use a little bit of work. But once we do get to the ground, he's really good. So I think this is a kind of a nightmare matchup for Phil Rowe, to be honest. So I'll take JPL. I think he gets it done by early submission. Next up on the card, we have Ramiz Brahimaj versus Punahele Soriano. I'm going to go with Soriano here. I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, I don't want to go back and look at the tape, but I believe Punahele is a southpaw. What I remember seeing from him is that he loves the straight left hand. I think I'm imagining this right. He loves looking to find outside foot position and splitting off and firing that two down the pipe and then chaining that into wrestling. And then once he does get to the ground, he's not really looking for a submission threat. He's not looking to get your back. He's not pressing that kind of an issue. It's more so ground and pound that he's looking for. And at that, it's not the most impressive ground and pound. But I do think that just on a fundamental basis of MMA, I think that Punahele is just a little bit, he's just better in each and every single area by a little bit than Ramiz Brahimaj. So I'm going to take Soriano. Brahimaj has shown that he's improved for sure in his last few fights, especially in the striking. We saw him mix in I think I remember a head kick in the last fight against Vanderford. He looked okay. He didn't look completely terrible. I think it's going to be, if I'm remembering this right, I think that Punahele being a southpaw is going to be maybe a little bit of an issue. Fire this straight down the pipe and chain it into the wrestling. Move Brahimaj backwards. I think that's kind of an issue for Brahimaj, especially when Brahimaj does fall to his back. I noticed doesn't really do much. He kind of just accepts it. I feel like I remember him gassing too. Am I remembering this? Yeah. Wow. It was a long time ago though, to be fair. I mean, Court McGee. Yeah. Demba Garimbo. Jesus. Yeah. That's not good. And then after that, it's like he hasn't been tested by anybody. I mean, obviously, he's picked up a little bit of steam. He's on a little bit of a win streak. It's Mickey Gall, Billy Ray Goff, and Austin Vanderford. That's not very, that's not the best fucking resume ever, dude. Not much of a win streak, if you ask me. Not to say that Punahele is much better, but I do think that this is kind of a car crash waiting to happen. I think it's kind of up for grabs, as the odds say, but I do think Punahele gets this done. I think that it is probably going to be a finish in some aspect. I'm not sure where, to be honest. Probably say ground and pound TKO, but from Punahele, or like some bomb of a left hand. Probably not ground and pound though, because Punahele ground and pound, there was a lot to be asked from his ground and pound in the last fight. I'll take Punahele. Fight's kind of up for grabs, so yeah, we'll fence it a little bit on this one. After that, we have Nora Knoll versus Jocelyn Edwards. This is actually a rematch for whatever reason, and that fight was a long time ago, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, It was 3 years ago. I'm going to take Jocelyn Edwards. I'm actually decently high on her because originally it was her grappling. That was kind of her base, was hold top control, pitter patter away from half guard and win over 15 minutes. But now she can do that and strike at a very high level. She has really good teeps. She has really good low kicks. Her distance management has gotten a lot better. And in the first fight, Jocelyn Edwards held a lot of top control. And Nora Kano won through the striking exchanges. And the judges valued the striking exchanges, and they gave Nora Kano the win. Nora Kano, for one, her grappling has not improved at all. Her grappling is, it literally, she has gotten no better in the grappling department. Jocelyn Edwards has gotten better in the grappling department, and that was already what she was good at. And her striking has evolved into these tons of different weapons. Whereas Nora Kano, I just don't see any improvement. It's kind of just this straight line of mediocreness. There's been nothing that she's improved upon over the film that I've seen. And Jocelyn Edwards is the exact opposite of that. She's got tons of tools on the feet. That was the only thing that she was really lacking in the first fight, was that she didn't really have much of an answer for Nora Kano on the feet. And now that's kind of what Jocelyn Edwards is known for as of recent, is her ability to pick you apart at range and use all of her weapons. So we'll take Jocelyn Edwards here. I think she gets it done by decision. Just haven't seen very much from Nora Kano recently. Next up on the card, we have Alden Correa versus Luis Garul. I'm going to take Alden Correa. The thing that I picked up on a lot from him was he throws a ton of feints. And I was watching an interview from Eugene Behrman, the lead coach, I think it is, at CKB, City Kickboxing, where Israel Adesanya trains. And he was saying all of the best fighters in the world, I'm not saying that Alden Correa is one of the best fighters in the world, but he said all of the best fighters in the world, if you watch them fight, they throw about 7 or 8 feints to one actual throw. Alden Correa does that, like to a T. He throws a ton of feints. And it's not just uneducated, not intuitive, oh, let's just feint to feint. Like, he's actually looking for reactions, and he works off of the reaction. Which, that being said, I would like to see the finishing ability off of that, which we have seen as of recent, but he does seem to play it safe a lot of times, which honestly just shows composure to me. I'm kind of grasping at straws here just to kind of nitpick his style, because from what I've seen, he is really sharp. And on the opposite side of things, I don't think that Luis Garul shows any sort of real, there's no X factor. Like with Alden Correa, you can point to, he has a really good feint game, his distance management is really good, and he works off of reads. That is the X factor. Luis Garul doesn't really, he's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, but not even jack of all trades. He's kind of just that's kind of an overstatement, because it's not, he's not doing anything that's okay, he knows what he's doing in that area. It's just so just below mediocre everywhere. He hasn't won in the UFC. His best performance to date was maybe winning a round against Jesus Aguilar, really? Jesus Aguilar is just like a stuffed wrestler with an overhand, as Conor McGregor would say. It's just not very impressive, dude. It's not impressive. I'll take Alden Correa. I'm not going to spend any longer on this one. Moving on from that. Up next on the card, we have Ode Osborne versus Alibi Adiris. This one's a toss-up, dude. This one is an absolute toss-up. I'm going to take Ode Osborne. Ode is one of those guys who relies completely on his athleticism. He's extremely explosive and extremely finish heavy in the early part of a fight, especially for flyweights. You don't really see very much finishing potential out of flyweights. For Ode, early on in a fight, he could finish it at any moment. That's just how athletic and how explosive he is. But as the fight goes, he slows down, doesn't have a way to make a read, grow throughout the fight. You see a lot of fighters who are just first round KO or bust. He's kind of in that category, but his athleticism, I think, just carries him so far. Even against the Aussie guy, Steve Erceg. He was literally just more athletic than Steve Erceg. And as we got to the later rounds, that athleticism literally carried him throughout the 15 minutes. Even in the third round, it wasn't that he was throwing anything different from the first round. He was throwing the same shit, but he's so athletically gifted that it was still able to land at a decent clip. On the other side of things, Alibi Adiris is kind of a fucking whack job. He throws all sorts of weird shit. There's no thought process. A lot of times he'll just what was the one? Was it a flying knee or a spin? I think it was a spin. He throws I'm pretty sure he spins a good bit. For no reason at all. There's no like, okay, I'll feint this way, get him to circle off the cage, and then spin into him. You know, maybe he runs into it that way or something. Like that's so like baseline. Like maybe let's try that. No, like he'll just spin to spin. I think that's what it is. I don't remember if it was a fly. I remember watching film and seeing him do some like wacky shit for no reason. But his movement is actually decent. His footwork isn't atrocious. You can't have atrocious footwork at flyweight, especially in the UFC. That being said, if he is able to circle off the cage, he is able to use decent footwork, avoid a first round finish, I think it'll come down to who lands a better 2 or 3 shots in the 3rd round. I don't really see a finish from Alibi Adiris. The only way that I see a finish is from Ode Osborne in the early parts of the fight. I'm going to take Ode just because I think that he can carry it over. I think his athleticism can carry him over 3 rounds. I think he can stay out of the way of some wacky spinning attack. I trust it. I don't trust it. What the fuck am I talking about? I don't trust it at all. This fight's a toss-up. Don't bet on this fight. Moving on. Chidi Njokuani versus Carlos Leal. Oh, man. This is another toss-up fight, dude. This is gross. I don't like picking a winner on this at all. I'm going to take Carlos Leal, dude. Oh, my God. For one, Chidi Njokuani is extremely big for the weight class. And not even just height, but, like, thick. Like, he's a big dude for the weight class. And that being said, because he cuts so much weight, he is pretty chinny. He has a really nice knee and teep up the middle. And his striking defense on the back foot is a little bit questionable. He leaves a lot of openings because he is actually susceptible to the shots coming back his way down the middle as well. But when he gets backed up, he tends to get clipped, like at a pretty high rate. When that happens, because his chin is a little bit questionable, it's fucking put out pretty easy. Didn't he get knocked out in his last fight, from what I remember? I should be able to remember. I don't know why I'm like questioning myself so much today. He did. Jake Matthews hurt him and choked him out. Carlos Leal is one of those guys who hunts a finish from the bell, and everything he throws is with tons of power, looking to put you away immediately. I think that he's able to slip on the inside, push Chidi toward the fence, and bomb one. Chidi doesn't really have too many looping shots that he can go to and land at a high rate, especially on the back foot. Like I said, moving backwards, he's not the best. And when Leal does throw, he does dip off the center line quite a bit, which obviously didn't work very well in his last fight because Muslim Salikov put him out with a right hand over the top. He looped one over the top. But when Chidi throws straight shots, I think he is going to be able to dip off and land some sort of an overhand and put Chidi down. But the worry is about the knee, dude. The knee. I can see a fucking knee, dude. I'm not gonna break this down anymore. I don't want to do this. I don't want to talk about this fight. I don't want to talk about this. I'm gonna take Carlos Leal. I don't know. It's just the finishing instincts that he has early, I think, is just gonna overwhelm Chidi, and he's gonna get finished, I think. Yeah, not stoked, but moving on. Up next on the card, Mikel Pereira versus Zachary Reese. I'm going to take Zachary Reese. I think Mikel Pereira is the definition of wash. He hasn't even shown a glimpse of his older self in his last handful of fights. I can't remember the last time that I saw explosive, in-your-face Mikel Pereira. So I can't bank on that type of a fighter showing up when I haven't seen it in years. But on the other side of things, Zachary Reese is a fucking glass cannon, dude. If he gets overwhelmed and anything clips him, he's done. Same for Mikel Pereira, though. It's literally just who lands first. Someone lands first, or they might just both get fucking tired. But in that sense, Zachary Reese will probably win a decision if it goes there. Mikel Pereira's gas tank is horrendous. I'm not even gonna break this down. I mean, who cares, honestly? The more I'm looking at this, the more I'm realizing I don't give a fuck. Oh my God. Zachary Reese has nice teeps. He has really nice body kicks, actually. The more I'm thinking about this, the more I'm starting to like Zachary Reese's tools. I don't see Mikel taking Zachary Reese down, which honestly I think would be the path of least resistance. If you want to beat Zachary Reese, is to take him down and ground and pound him, as Matt Bakoev did, I believe, is who that was. Mikel Pereira won't do that. He'll can like stand there, do like a backflip, maybe, like literally. If you haven't watched Mikel Pajeda fight, he literally does like backflips in the octagon. He's a total retard. And Zachary Reese, he has a nice piston of a right hand. Chin sucks, but I like the kicking game. I like the length. I'll take Zachary Reese, I guess. Next up on the card, Jacoby Smith versus Josiah Harrell. I'm not going to take long on this one either. I'm taking Jacoby Smith. I don't think that he's as good as people think, obviously, because of his last fight against Nico Price, where the second round started and he didn't look like he could breathe very well. I mean, that's not good, dude. The second round starts and you're looking pretty slow. Granted, he got the finish, which thank God. I mean, it's Nico Price. Jacoby Smith throws. He throws in combination. There's not much thought behind it, but he does throw in combination. And it does work because he's trying to overwhelm you. Josiah Harrell, he has a nice blast double leg. His striking isn't horrible, but at the same time, it's not good. And he's got like fucking T-Rex arms, bro. He's tiny. Like, he's not very fucking big. I think Jacoby Smith probably walks through him, dude. I'm not going to spend very long on this. I don't know what the odds are on this. It didn't have it when I looked. I would assume that Jacoby Smith is a huge favorite. I don't see how this gets out of the first round. Moving on. I'm not talking about a lot of these, but fuck it. Up next, we have Sergey Spivak versus Ante D'Elia. I'm taking D'Elia. I'm not stoked because I do think D'Elia has a lot of openings, and the more that I'm starting to watch film on these Aspinall camp guys like D'Elia and like Aspinall, the more I'm finding openings, the more I'm realizing it is very one-dimensional. Spivak's striking it's okay. His grappling is where he actually shines, is from top control in the grappling. D'Elia is predictable because a lot of these, I mean, him and Aspinall, a lot of it is just find outside foot position and bang a 1-2. That's a lot of what their style is, and that's a lot of what the whole game plan is. And that is very predictable, but at the same time, both of those guys are so much faster and they're just as powerful as everybody else in the division that they can get away with it. I like D'Elia. I think that if he does get tested in the grappling here, I think it could be a problem. I think that if he does get clipped with anything, I don't really see him being able to bounce back and turn the corner, get past it. But from everything that I've seen from D'Elia, it's that he is going to be a lot faster than Sergey Spivak. And Spivak, when in the past, when he does have a speed disadvantage, does not fucking go well. I'm going to take D'Elia here. I think he gets a first or second round TKO. Probably first round, honestly. If it goes outside of that, live bet Spivak. Especially with the grappling, he has good takedown entries. We'll take D'Elia, but again, a lot of toss-ups on this card. Up next on the card, we have Melchizedek Costa taking on Dan Ige. And I'm taking Melky, dude. I'm on the Melky hype train, bro. I think he's really good. Dan Ige has only regressed, and it hasn't been like a firm drop-off that he's had. It's more so that his style has become that he can only win if he gets on the inside and you are willing to swing in the pocket. Maybe not even just swing in the pocket, but allow him to even get close to maybe even clinch range or in tight in boxing range. That's the only place that he really actually has success, and he's able to bang those check hooks. He's able to throw looping shots in combination, mix in uppercuts as well. That's the only time that he's actually serviceable. Melky's become serviceable literally everywhere. It used to just be the kicking game, and then it was holy shit, he's got really good jiu-jitsu off of his back. Wow, his top control's good. He's got smooth transitions on the ground. Wow, his striking's really good. Wow, his movement's become really good. I think he's actually growing into a very good prospect. His last fight just furthers that. I mean, he made quick work of Morgan Charrier. And the head kick read was disgusting. I mean, he's got a really nice knee up the middle for when Dan Ige does slip on the inside, uses head movement, slowly inch his way in to that range where he can bang a left hook. I can see teeps coming. I can see a front kick to the face coming. I can see anything up the middle to keep his distance. Melky's good at circling off the cage. He's a lot bigger as well. I can't go against Melky, dude. I've been picking Melky to win a lot of fights. He hasn't gotten me in trouble yet. So I'm going to keep rolling with him. I think Melky gets this done. I think he actually gets a TKO here. I have it by second or third round TKO. Up next on the card is Jeff Neal versus Uros Medic, the co-main event. I'm going to take Jeff Neal here. I'm not going to spend long on it either, actually. I love Uros Medic. I think that he's fun to watch. I think that he's a little bit irresponsible in the defensive striking. I think he gets clipped really easily. I think he has a glass chin, and I think that it only takes one read that a fighter needs to make in order to put him away. And Jeff Neal makes tons of reads. His boxing is super clean. I think he's going to be able to piston a right hand off his temple. And I think Uros Medic is probably going to get put away early here, which is really unfortunate because Medic is kind of on a little bit of a roll here. He's entertaining. But Jeff Neal's a vet. Jeff Neal finds a way to hit everybody. I mean, even in the Protez fight, he was landing a few nice shots. He's got a nice high guard as well, which is going to be hard for Medic to get through. He's not like Protez where he's unpredictable. Like, he's not longer than Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal's got long arms. It's going to be tough for Medic to close that void, and I think that Jeff Neal's going to be able to close the void when Medic doesn't even know that it's happening, because Jeff Neal literally just needs to make one read, land one shot, and Medic goes out. His chin is literally that bad. I'll take Jeff Neal. I'll take him by early TKO, probably in the first round. Main event time, Anthony Hernandez versus Sean Strickland. This is a toss-up. Again, I don't know how Anthony Hernandez is almost a 3-1 favorite. I'm going to take Sean Strickland. So one thing, before I get into like the technicals of actual like combat, with almost every division, there's a fighter who has like one lifestyle choice that really fucks them over. For example, Paddy Pimblett. He has the food problem. He was never going to win a UFC title having that bad habit. Colby Covington. He never wanted to put on weight. He never wanted to cut weight because that's just the way I roll, man. So he weighs 175 pounds year round and shows up and fights at 170 pounds. He was never going to reach the pinnacle of his weight class. Anthony Hernandez has a serious weed problem. It's the same thing in my eyes. Those guys who have those weird lifestyle choices that they can't kick, where it is going to translate over, you're fucked. I'm sorry. You're not going to reach the pinnacle of the sport. And Sean Strickland has been at the pinnacle of the sport, and he's a hard guy to figure out. So that's one thing that I just can't seem to get past with Fluffy. Strickland's best tool is obviously his jab and his teep. He has a lead leg teep, and obviously he has just a basic teep with his right leg. Fluffy's striking defense is not good, especially when it comes from that lead side of his opponent. When guys are able to stay on the feet for even a decent period of time against Anthony Hernandez, they land at a pretty high clip. There's lots of openings. There's no education in like, oh, you hit me with a lead hook. Maybe I need to keep a tighter guard, or maybe I can't just recklessly walk into boxing range. He keeps doing the same thing. It's a pattern. And with guys like Strickland who are sparring so much, they pick up on those things. Oh, wow. If I keep circling off, there's a gnat in my room. Anyways, what was I saying? Strickland, when he's able to find a read, like if I just circle off this way, I can ping this jab in this spot, or I can move forward here, throw this combination, end it with a left hand around the guard. Like, he's going to pick up on those things because Hernandez's striking is not good. Hernandez is grappling heavy type of guy where he's going to try and get top control, and he's going to try and wear you out and make you do these big, forced, long, drained out movements to tire you out. And he's going to throw his weight around. His weight distribution is his calling card. Because when they get to the ground, it's not that he has like crazy grip strength. No, it's just he's able to put his heavy part of his body over your weakest point and force you back down to the ground and get you tired. But Sean's defensive grappling is so good. Like that, I'm pretty sure that was what his base of MMA was when he started fighting. I don't think Hernandez is going to be able to hold him down. No one out cardios really Strickland very often. I mean, I would be thoroughly impressed if Hernandez does out cardio Sean Strickland. It's possible, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Sean's going to be able to get back up. I think he's going to be able to work that left hand and that teep, that lead teep, and I think he's going to win a decision. That's what I got for you. I probably a thing or two else that I got to start writing notes down on these. Appreciate you guys. I dropped a video yesterday. If you want to check that out, it'll pop up on your screen right now. If you're new around here, do like and subscribe. That's all I got for you. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.